guys, it's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel. So for this week's video, I'm going to be telling you guys a story about the time I had to spend 4 nights and 5 days in a hospital, which was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. So I'm just going to get right into the story. Basically, this happened when I was in 4th grade, I think, or 5th grade. I can't exactly remember. I was going to my best friend at the time's birthday party. I was super excited. It was a pool party. It was a hot summer day. I had my bathing suit on, had my towel packed, had my little cover up on, and I was super excited to go. I had her gift, and my sister was coming with me, and it was going to be so much fun. So I'm all hyped up. I'm ready to leave, and as I'm getting ready to leave, I don't remember what I was exactly doing. I guess I reached my arm out or made my arm visible to my parents somehow. I don't know. And my dad looked at me, and he's like, "What happened to your arm? Let me see that." And I was like, what? And I didn't notice this for who knows how long. It could have been days, could have been a week, I'm not sure. But I had this red line going up my arm, like from right here in my hand, all the way up to like about here. And it was like this thick, like as thick as my finger, I would say, like kind of just like, it wasn't a straight line, but it wasn't like all messed up. It was pretty straight for the most part, and I didn't even notice it there at all. And my parents were like, "What is this?" Since I'm allergic to a lot of things, they were like, "Maybe it's something you ate. What did you eat?" But I didn't eat anything I would normally be allergic to. And then we started thinking maybe it's from a sunscreen or a tanning oil you used, because I do get allergic to certain tanning oils and sunblocks. But I didn't even put on sunblock or tanning oil that day, so I was like, no, I didn't put anything on. And they were like, "Does it itch? Like, does it hurt? Like, what does it feel like?" And it didn't feel like anything. I literally didn't even know it was there. I was like, it just feels like my arm. So they were like, "Okay, we're gonna be late to this birthday party. Let's just soak your arm in a little tub thing of alcohol, like rubbing alcohol." So they got this like little bin and filled it with rubbing alcohol, and I was sitting there for like 30 minutes with my arm just in this rubbing alcohol. Nothing was happening. It didn't hurt. It didn't itch. It didn't feel any different. So after 30 minutes, they were just like, "You know what? We're just gonna drop Brandy off at this birthday party and we're gonna take you to the hospital." And then I got kind of scared. But at this point, as a 4th grader, going to a pool party was like the highlight of my life. And it was my best friend's party, no less. So I was more so mad and upset than being scared at this point. I was so mad at my parents. I was like, "How could you be doing this to me? It's my best friend's birthday. Like, I've been waiting for this for weeks. I'm so excited. She's my best friend. I can't miss her party. She's gonna be so mad at me." Whatever. So they're like, "No, too bad, so sad. We have to take you to the hospital. It's too bad." I was like, "How long is it gonna take? Am I gonna be able to go back after?" And they were like, "Yeah, I'm sure we'll be out within a few hours and you'll be able to still go to the party and still hang out with your friends." So I'm still kind of upset, but I just have in the back of my mind, okay, whatever, we'll get this over with quickly. Nothing's wrong with me. They'll be like, "Oh, that's just something stupid. You're fine," and send me home. So the whole time I wouldn't really talk to my parents because I was just so angry. And then we get to the hospital. They bring me into one of those rooms with the curtains, like not the permanent sleep overnight rooms. And they're like, "Let's just check you out, take some blood, whatever." So they took my blood, asked me some questions, and then what felt like 12 years later, they finally got results, and they wouldn't tell me what was wrong with me because I was in 4th grade. So they brought my parents out of the room and told them. And I remember my parents coming back into the room with their eyes all teary, looking so upset. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? You can't just go out into the hallway and say something and then come back in here like half crying. Like, now I'm scared, I'm dying." So I was like, "Am I dying? What's going on? What's wrong with me?" And they were like, "You just have some infection in your arm and you're gonna have to stay overnight." When I heard the words "stay overnight," I lost it. I was so mad. I remember just literally, I wouldn't even look at anybody, and I was just so angry that I had to stay there and upset and scared. And no one would tell me exactly what I had or what was wrong with me. So I'm just kind of freaking out in my head and just really angry that I have to stay here and that I won't be able to make it to my best friend's pool party. So I make my dad call my sister. The lady tells me she has to put an IV in my arm and that they're gonna admit me into one of the overnight rooms and whatever. So she's like, "You could close your eyes and hold my hand if you want." And I was just like, no, I wasn't having it. I was like, you could put the needle in my arm and I'm just gonna watch TV over there, because there was like a TV on the wall, and I was like, and I'm just gonna ignore all of you because you're all so mean for making me miss this pool party. I'm so mad at you all. She first tried putting the needle in my hand. I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience of getting blood taken where they have to poke you with a needle 28 different times to find a vein, but it is so annoying and painful. And she put it in my hand at first, and then she was like, wait, no, I need to take it out and do it again. And then she took it out, put it back in my hand, and she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put this in your arm. So instead, she took it out again and put it in my arm, like right here. To this day, I literally hate touching right here because it gives me such like bad memories of that time. And I'm right-handed, so she put this little butterfly needle right here in my arm, and it stopped me from doing everything. Like, I remember I couldn't bend my arm, I couldn't use my arm because this butterfly needle was just stabbing me, and I had these IVs like in my arm, and it literally just sucked. So I finally get into a room and they're like, do you want food, water, whatever? I'm like, no, I don't want hospital food. It grosses me out for some reason. I really don't know why. And I just honestly didn't want to eat because, again, I was mad and being petty. So my dad went to a restaurant and got me pasta with butter, which for some reason I remember was the best pasta with butter I ever tasted in my life. But yeah, so I'm in this hospital room and I literally had nothing to do. I didn't have a phone. The TV stations all were awful. There were no friends. I was in a room alone. I couldn't talk to anybody. And I just literally was so bored. The day felt so long because I had nothing to do. So finally I decided maybe I'll try to go to sleep. So trying to get comfortable in a hospital bed, in this hospital gown they gave me, not my own clothes, like I don't have sweatpants, I'm so uncomfortable. I feel so like uncomfortable not being in my own bed, sleeping on these pillows. It just like was so uncomfortable for me. And normally when I sleep curled up in a ball, like literally a ball like this, and I won't move all night. But because this stupid needle was stabbing my arm, I had to sleep like straight with my arm just going straight, and I couldn't move it. It was very, very uncomfortable. I couldn't fall asleep for so long. I hate laying like a plank. Like I can't fall asleep like that. But finally I fell asleep, and what felt like 2 minutes later, but was probably an hour or two later, I get woken up by a nurse changing my IV. I remember just like crying because I was just so frustrated and done. I was like, seriously? And I was just like, did she really have to do this right now? I was sleeping. Like, she could have done it in the morning. And she was like, hi, sweetheart, sorry to wake you, but just so you know, she didn't even talk like this. I don't know whose voice this is, but whatever. Just so you know, every 4 hours, we're just going to come in your room and change your IV thing, package, whatever was in there. Awesome, great. Every 4 hours I'm gonna be woken up. So I remember anytime I'd fall asleep, it just felt like people would wake me up 5 minutes later because there's a different nurse changing my IV thing, being so loud, making me feel so uncomfortable. It was literally awful. So I kind of just like gave up trying to sleep. I was like, you know what, whatever. I probably got about 3 full hours of sleep that night. So the next morning, I'm super cranky, super annoyed, and my mom comes with my sister to visit me, and my dad slept there with me because I was only in 4th grade and I was scared. And for some reason he was allowed to sleep there. I mean, maybe he just told me he was sleeping there, but I remember waking up like seeing him there. Maybe it wasn't that late at night and he had to be kicked out at some time and I just didn't know. My mom comes to visit me and she's like, hey, like, your aunts want to come visit you, your cousins want to see you and make sure you're okay. And I just remember I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't want anybody to know I was in the hospital, anybody to know that I had this infection, because I just didn't want to hear about it anymore. I was over it. I was like, I'm probably going home soon, Mom, so just tell them to not come. And they were like, no, it's fine. We don't know what time you're getting released. So I was pretty mad. I was just like, I really don't want to see anybody. I'm just not in the mood to pretend to be happy and whatever. But then my aunts come, they bring me teddy bears, they make me laugh and feel better. So I was kind of feeling a little better. And then my doctor came back in the room and told me I was sleeping there overnight again. I was so angry. I was like, why? Why do I have to sleep here? And they were like, honestly, we're probably going to need you to stay for about 2 more nights just so we can make sure this infection doesn't get worse and that it's completely gone. At this point, I just had no emotions. I was angry and sad, but like, I just was like, whatever, this is my life. Again, I wouldn't eat, so my dad had to go buy me the same thing, pasta with butter, and I literally just sat in my room all day. I remember at night, I wanted to like adventure around and like see what was up because I was bored. And I wasn't really supposed to be getting up and walking around, but I just didn't care because I was so mad that I had to be there in the first place. So I remember holding my little IV thingy. And walking in the hallways and just like going to this little quiet cutout in the wall with like these couches, and I was just sitting there and like thinking about how like I was complaining about having to stay there for like 2 nights, but like there were people who had to stay there for like months and months, and people who were really sick, and it like really made me upset and think. And I was just like, it kind of like gave me a new perspective on life, and it kind of made me just feel like life can be really short sometimes. Who knows what can happen tomorrow? So I have to just start being happier and not letting this make me angry and whatever. And I just kind of contemplated life as a 4th grader because life is so hard, and I went back to my room, kind of tried to fall asleep, but again was being woken up every 4 hours to change my IV thing. And then I woke up the next day feeling a little more positive and like I need to get out. And then my dad suggested to me to go to this little play area place where there would be a bunch of kids and I could go make some friends and do something with my life. So I remember my mom got there, my sister got there, but my sister wasn't allowed to go in there because she wasn't a patient. So I walk in this room and I'm introduced by these like nurses, and there's a bunch of kids there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do some arts and crafts. So they give us this green string and these like little green beads and stuff, and they teach us how to make these like cute little turtle keychain things. I still have it to this day, and I also learned how to make this like lanyard stuff out of this weird plastic string stuff. I don't really know. But after I learned how to make them, I literally kept making them for like months after just because I thought it was so much fun, and I was able to do it so quick. I wonder if I could still do it today. I kind of still remember how to do it. I'm gonna try it. But I still have that to this day, and I also still have my hospital bands for some reason. I have these like chests upstairs with like, they're called my memory boxes, and me and my sister have so much stuff from like everything we've done. One day I'll definitely make a video showing you guys and just like going through that stuff. But anyway, I remember just like looking around the room and just like thinking about like what were all these kids doing there? Like what was their story? Why were they there? How long did they have to be there? It like intrigued me in a weird way. It really upset me and made me like really sad. And I just kind of at that point was like, I don't want to be in here anymore. Like I just want to go home. I went back into my room and I was like, this is my last night, thank God, whatever. Showed my parents what I made. They were like, wow, that's so cute. I tried teaching my sister how to make these lanyard stringy things. And then I again tried to go to sleep and then woke up the next day all excited to leave. I was like, finally, I am getting out of here. This is my day. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna pet my dog. I'm gonna watch Disney Channel. I remember being so excited to go home, sit on my couch and watch Disney Channel. Like, for some reason, I just wanted to watch Hannah Montana and forget that this whole thing happened. So I'm getting ready to leave. I'm kind of just like gathering all my stuff, gathering all my teddy bears, and my doctor, not from the hospital, but like my pediatric doctor, came to the hospital to check me out, see how I was doing. And I was sitting in this chair all ready to go, and he looked at my arm and he's like, just to be safe, I think we should make you stay 1 more night. I held a grudge towards my doctor for months after because of that. I was just so mad. I was like, he is the worst person in the world. I was so excited to leave, and he tells me I have to stay for 1 more night. This is literally the worst day ever. I wouldn't talk to anybody that day. I wouldn't eat that day. I wouldn't look at anybody that day. I just tried to sleep all day and hope that the day would just zoom by because I was so sick of being there. So then I just pout all day, all night, and then finally the next day I get to go home. And I just remember when they first took the IV out of my arm, it was so hard for me to bend my arm because it felt so disgusting. And the whole car ride home, I remember I had to keep my arm straight. I got home, laid on my couch, watched Disney Channel. My sister was so excited I was home and so happy. And I was just so mad and jealous that she got to be home while I had to suffer in the hospital. I felt so uncomfortable being home for some reason. And I just fell asleep on my couch, watched Disney Channel, and yeah, that was my awful experience at the hospital. But it definitely opened my eyes to see a whole different world, kind of, because as a 4th grader, you know, nothing bad had ever happened to me prior to that. Like, maybe I got a scrape on my knee, you know, but like, I never had to experience something so scary and had to stay over a hospital, and it really just like put my life into a different kind of perspective. And I really felt for like sick kids in hospitals, you know. It made me feel so sad. And so every couple of months after that, me and my family would always donate these huge baskets to all these little kids in the hospital. And it made me feel so good, just like going back there and like making the kids happy. And they would like write us notes and say how thankful they were and stuff. And it was honestly so cute. So yeah, that was my experience in a hospital for 5 days and 4 nights. If you guys have ever had to go to the hospital or stay overnight in a hospital, comment down below and tell me your stories. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week.